crafty friends, Jen Cassell here. I'm back with a project for Scrapaholics Chipboard. I have created this adorable tag, and once again I am using some of her acetate that is available in the shop. You've probably seen me use the acetate for memory decks cards, but she also has these amazing acrylic tags. So the tags measure 4 by 6 inches in height, and I grabbed this one here. This will show you the shape of it a little better, but if you look, oh my gosh, so cute. I love these layers. I do have a tutorial for you. I used a little seam binding at the top. I did some vinyl, some gold foiling paints. I even added a little bit of pattern paper to the background. I did an adorable floral cluster. You're going to be able to see this pumpkin that I used as well. These brooms are from the Target dollar spot that I altered a little bit. I went over everything with a bit of modeling paste to give it a little texture and lighten the whole piece up. You're going to see some florals sticking out in the background. These branches are from the shop. Just so stinking cool. I will show you my design team package as well, so let's get into it. All right, so I've categorized them into 3 different seasons. I grabbed some autumn, I grabbed some fall or Halloween, and then I also grabbed some Christmas. So starting off with the autumn, I've really been liking mushrooms lately. If you've been catching me on Instagram, I've been doing a couple cricket mushrooms. So I kind of wanted to try some chipboard ones that I saw in the shop, and these really appealed to me. And then I also grabbed this really cool pumpkin frame. It's got some beautiful leaves in there, but I thought this could be really cool paired with these mushrooms. And then I'm moving on to Christmas. So I grabbed this cute joy, and I was just thinking this would be really pretty, like a white card with this like front and center on it. So that's kind of what I have planned for that. And then I have some cute little gingies. I also grabbed the holly. I've used the gingies and the holly before. I also grabbed these too, and once again, I think I've already used these, but I really like them. You get quite a few in the set, so you get 3. And then I also grabbed these snowflakes. Now these snowflakes can be layered or you can use them separately. This is one of my favorites from her shop. And I'm really excited about this little gingerbread house. So these are the ones that I've set aside for Halloween and the project that I'm about to do the tutorial. So this is one of her acrylic tags. So you get 3 layers to this. You get 2 of the chipboard. So you have the front layer, you have this acrylic piece, and this is a heavy duty acrylic. This isn't going anywhere. And then you also have the tag portion. So I'm gonna layer mine like this. And then I also pulled out, here's some candy corn, and then I grabbed some of these really cute berry sprigs. I grabbed some more sprigs. I grabbed these adorable pumpkins. You get 3 of these too, super fun. This is from my stash already. Oh, I also grabbed these branches out. I'm just going to play. Right, so the first thing we are going to do is work on the back acrylic layer. So for this portion, you are going to use, I grabbed some gilding flakes for this. I love the Nouveau ones. I find it easiest to apply with a tweezer. It's totally up to you though. I did grab a couple of scraps of paper that I'm going to apply. I'm going to be using my Barely Art glue for this section. And then I have also already cut a vinyl that says Hocus Pocus. As you can see, I did do this on reverse. I've already applied it to my transfer paper. And now I'm going to apply it to this. So I did it in reverse because we are actually going to be working on the reverse half of the acrylic so that when the tag is upright, the inside acrylic layer is going to be flat. So I want my Hocus Pocus to be right here. So I'm actually going to have to apply it on this side here. I've applied my Hocus Pocus vinyl. That's how it turned out. I'm sorry for the glare, guys. There really isn't much I can do. It's late at night, so I need the light. But I'm gonna flip it back over so that our Hocus Pocus is mirrored. And now I am going to grab some of my gilding flakes. I have a plan of putting these right about here and here. So I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna kind of measure out where everything is, and I'm gonna trace it using my Barely Art glue. Now that I have a general idea of where my scraps are gonna go, I'm gonna kind of build out these lines a little bit, because this is where we are going to be putting our gold leafing. So I'm gonna go in like this. And I'm probably gonna put a little over here. And then once again, I'm gonna build out. I'm gonna come over here with my gold leafing. Now we are going to set this aside and let it dry. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna work on here is this pumpkin. So all I've done so far is gessoed it white. I wanted to figure out a way to color this. I wanted to add a little bit of color and see how it turned out. So what I did was trace this onto some watercolor paper. This is what I got, and I did leave some pencil marks as to where the leaves began, where my circles were. I am working with this watercolor brush, and I'm first gonna go in with a little bit of pink. All right, once I have the pink done, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this orange. Okay, so I have it together, and now I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue on the reverse of the chipboard so I can attach. So now that I have adhered the chipboard layer to the watercolor paper, I'm gonna go in. These are just some leaves that I created, once again, just using the watercolors. And this is a punch that I had in my stash that I thought would kind of look cute with this pumpkin. So I'm gonna adhere them on. I'm gonna come in here. So here's my pumpkin. Oh my gosh, so cute, right? All right, so now I have just gone through, and on the opposite side, I'm just taking my finger to kind of rub away the excess on here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere my pattern paper pieces. I am just going to use some Barely Art glue, and of course dries clear, so it'll work kind of just like a Mod Podge. So this is what I have so far. Now I am going to grab some paint. So now I am just going to go in with a little bit of white paint. I'm using a white acrylic chalk style paint. It just gives really good coverage for something like this. And see what it looks like. I like it. All right, so we're gonna set this aside and let it dry. So now I have my frames all set here. I just added a layer of gesso. If you don't have gesso, you could use some of that chalk paint. That'll work, you know, pretty much the same way. And I'm gonna go in with some of this Distress Oxide and a saltwater taffy. So I'm just gonna grab my brush and I'm gonna just start applying. So as you can see, it's definitely a mottled effect. I'm gonna set that aside. And when you're inking, you can pull that glue up. If you're using a glass mat like I am, that's why I really enjoy using a glass mat for mixed media. That ink will just kind of sit on top of it and you can pull it back up so you have less waste. All right, so once again, I have my mottled effect and I am just gonna dry this real quick. I will be right back. All right, so I've dried these with my heat tool and I'm gonna go in. I'm using a product called Distress Microglaze, and this is really good if you're using the oxidings because there is a bit of transfer with them. This stuff, all you have to go in and just grab a little, I'm just using my fingertip, and then I'm gonna run it over this and just kind of press it in there. This is going to help prevent that ink from transferring. Once you're done, you're just gonna go in and buff off the excess. Now I'm gonna go in with my Barely Art glue and I'm just gonna apply a nice thin layer. Your fine tip is gonna come in really handy for this because you really don't wanna get any excess glue onto the acrylic. Perfect. Press that down, make sure that you give it a nice seal, and you're gonna move along to the next one. So this is what we have so far. Oh my goodness, absolutely love it. So I went ahead and pulled some of the products that I was thinking about using. I grabbed some florals. I definitely have a color pattern here. This is a mix of handmade and store-bought. So these ones are actually from Scrapaholics Chipboard. She has some really cool flowers in her shop, especially if you're looking for mini roses. And they do have really nice leaves that are attached, but not part of the flower. So check those out. And then there's some of the Sakura flowers from Scrap Diva Designs, one of my favorites. These two pink ones are Prima and these ones are handmade. They're older ones that I've had in my stash for a while. I just figured I'd bring them out. Here's that pumpkin that we did. I have some Scrapaholics chipboard here that once again I've just gone through and gessoed, and then the black one that we painted. And then these are left over from a card that I created. I never ended up using them on the card, and I absolutely love them. This is a Barely Art cut file. And then I went ahead and put those together and inked it. I grabbed a bow just in case. I have this cute little witch from the Prima collection. I grabbed, here's a spider ring. I like to cut the back of the ring off and use these in my projects. They're from Dollar Tree. You can get a whole bunch of them for dirt cheap. Another thing that I pulled, I found these witches brooms. I was in the Target dollar spot yesterday, and this is what they look like. How cute are these? But they have just like a short handle on them, so I'm gonna take this handle off. I just grabbed some wire cutters for this, and I'm gonna take that handle off completely, and then I painted a skewer, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. I'm just gonna cut it off. So I'm just going to attach the skewer in here. Perfect. This is exactly what I want. I'm gonna take my hot glue. I use this Surebonder one. I absolutely love it. This is their mini. What's nice about it is you can take it off and it's completely cordless. I love it. I was introduced to this one by some of the girls at XOXO because I had just bought cheap hot glue guns for the longest time. And this one is super, super nice. One of my best tips is you don't have to use die cuts or chipboard or anything like that. We get into this mindset that we have to use them whole, and sometimes you can cut them down for, you know, an entirely different look and to make them a little more manageable. This is what we have so far. I wanted to do this right up here. So once again, I'm just gonna grab my scissors and I'm gonna cut that down because I don't want the whole thing. So I'm gonna cut right about here. Oh my goodness, this is turning out so stinking cute. So I'm not gonna let the rest of it go to waste. Cut it down even more, and that's gonna go right inside my floral cluster. Now I'm gonna build up that floral cluster. So when I make my flowers, sometimes I leave the centers off just so I can match the centers to whatever is in my project. And I know I want a little more orange right here to balance it out. So I'm gonna go in with this flower. All right, so I think it's about where I like it. I was gonna add a giant bow to the top, but then I was like, I added these cute little bats. They're from the Target dollar spot. I did use this little spider down at the bottom instead of the spider ring. This was from Target dollar spot last year as well. So now that I have everything where I wanted, you can see all of the luscious texture and layers, super cute. I'm gonna go in with some, this is just a modeling paste, and I'm gonna lighten things up a little bit. Now that I have my art stones on there, and I'll give you a nice close-up here. Super pretty. It took it to the next level. I'm gonna go in with some Barely Art, and I'm using my refill bottle for this. So I just poured a little into the cap, and I'm using a paintbrush to apply it. Now, this is what I'm going to use for my glitter. So I am gonna lay it on thick because I want this super, super sparkly. Now, if you work quickly enough, your texture paste is still gonna be pretty wet. So that too will act like an adhesive for this glitter. But I'm really going in with a heavy hand for this. I'm just going in with my glitter duster. This is from Stampers Anonymous. And inside you're gonna find some extra fine white glitter. And I'm just using that pump to give everything a nice coat. Here. All right, so here's the finished product. Love how this turned out. I just added some seam binding at the top. Everything is so sparkly and glittery. I love it. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to head on over to Scrapaholics Chipboard and check out some of the amazing products that she has in the shop. I'll link everything into the description box. A special thanks to all my supporters. It means the world to me. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye.